So we've got these drums, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to transform these old drums into a unique, one-of-a-kind, stunning coffee table. We're going to introduce a lot of wood, and we're going to put as much of the chrome hardware as we can back on it to give a nice contrast with the walnut. We're going to bag up all the hardware as we go, and one of the things we're going to do that's different on this is I'm going to strip them down to the shells, and then we're going to re-veneer them with some walnut veneer. And the veneer that I picked for this is a 3M peel and stick coating that they put on it. So there's no glue, and there should be a lot less mess. We're going to patch a few holes because some of the hardware is just not going to be applicable. And as we get them stripped, this is the configuration we're going to use. At the present time, it doesn't look like much, but we've got to figure out how to join them together. So we're going to have to cut a section out of these two side drums. They're a little lower. And I'm going to do this on the table saw. I'm going to clamp it to a board for a little more stability. And I'm going to run it through very slowly. Jordan, as you see, is not impressed, but it worked pretty well. Maybe a little bit jinky. With the section cut out, the drum shells lost its integrity. When the tension's gone, like when you cut a board with tension, it's smooth. So we're going to reinforce this area and create some flat surfaces so we have something to work from to try to join it together. And first we're going to take a 1x12. We're going to angle the ends a little bit. We're going to put some glue on the long grain there and hope that it bonds to the interior of the shell. But I don't have a lot of faith. This is just part of the process of figuring it out. And I'm going to back it up with some 3/4 inch plywood. And as I'm more of a realist about these things, I know that this may not have a good bond either. So we're going to go ahead and put some screws in it. And then I think we can just drill through these two side sections with the boards that we put, and we'll bolt them together. And what we're looking for, I'm hoping for a tight seam joining these two drums to the bigger drum. I want to make sure that's a tight seam because I don't know what type of piece of trim I could put in there that wouldn't look kind of cheesy. So we'll see. I've been thinking about this table build for a while. I was watching a TV show, and it was a drummer from a big band, very big band, and they were moving around his house, and I was looking at the furniture, and I was thinking, this is what musicians would want. They want a table like this. And that was the spark to start the project. We're going to add a little bit more reinforcement. We're going to put some 3/4 on the top, and this will give us something to screw through when we put the walnut tops and the hoops there. And we need to get all this done before we put on the veneer. And a pleasant surprise of the veneer is that this 3M adhesive does make it a lot easier. I'm not a very experienced veneer user, but with my tallest drum being 17, I cut each section to 19, and it was really pretty painless to get it all together. With our drum shells wrapped, we need to start work on the tops. So we're going to make a template first, and we've got this unusual concave connection here. So we're going to first cut that out. We're going to make sure it fits. And we're going to try to make this a very accurate template. So we'll cut it close again, and then we'll take it back, use some double-sided tape and a pattern bit, and let it cut as close to the size of the drum as humanly possible. And that'll make things a lot easier down the road. For the center top, we're going to use the chrome hoop from the bass drum that's the center. We're going to use a simple homemade circle cutting jig and glue up our tops. And we'll take this time, put on a coat of Osmo clear gloss hard wax oil. This is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting to stick this chrome hardware back on. So I'm going to stick it on. Might be a little early, but I'm really curious to see how it looks. I think it's starting to look pretty good. We're going to take this time and go ahead and put some bracing in the middle drum and put a sheet of plywood on there. And we really want to get it as stiff and as reinforced as possible because it's getting harder and harder to do anything from the bottom side. We're going to go ahead and take this template that we made from the drum, and we're going to put our tops on it. We're going to roughly cut it, and then we're going to take it over to the big table router and use a pattern bit. And we're going to cut both sides in the top, and hopefully everything will be very close, being we spent so much time making the template and getting it right. And this is fitting pretty nicely. Now we have to attach the hoop and we have to align the hoop. So I'm going to tape it in a couple places. It's one of those little unexpected things when you're trying to build it, and you have to be very careful. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to attach the ring to this round top, but before I can screw it permanently, I need to trim it. And the reason I need to trim it is because the top was made from the template was made from the drum shell, and the drum shell was not perfectly round. But we did make the tops to match the drum shell. So we're going to screw the holes here, tighten it up, fasten it all the way around. Then we can cut it where it needs to be and sand it off and get it nice and smooth. I know this is a grinder, and this is a Harbor Freight sanding disc, but I won't tell if you don't. Guess what? More Osmo. I'm going to rub a couple coats in with this white microfiber pad and let them sit overnight. I'll probably do 2 of these before I start trying to fit them to the piece. I've gone back and forth on what kind of legs to put on this piece. I was going to make some walnut legs. I was going to make something really neat. But as I looked at them, I didn't see enough chrome. And I thought, this is kind of ridiculous. So I'm gonna figure a way to use the tom drum stand that comes with it. 3 pieces hardware per drum, 3 long legs. I have to cut them, I'll have to modify them, but I think it's gonna work. I'm fairly pleased with these. I think they're gonna look just fine. And they're gonna allow for a lot of adjustment. So I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna see if I can get it level. And with the hoops on, I can stick the lugs through, tighten it down, and we're just about done. We are gonna have to modify the lugs and the hold downs for the hoop for the middle section. It's a bass drum. They're a little different. And it's got a little bit of a claw that sticks on. But we're going to grind it off and we're going to file it smooth. And I think this will work.